All right, now let's check in with foreign correspondent Sara Firth, who is in Herbene, Poland. Sara, what's the latest there?
So for the last few days, we've been crossing the border into Ukraine, traveling with international NGOs that are now on evacuation missions to save the lives of children across the border that have very serious medical needs and that have been evacuated from areas that have come under serious attack from Russian forces over the last couple of weeks. So we've been meeting with those people, we've been hearing their stories, and it is a humanitarian crisis. Yesterday, we were on the ground with the medics. We visited a children's home that had just taken in more than 100 unaccompanied children, children without parents, some that are incredibly sick, dealing with cancer and other serious medical needs. The doctors had just the day before we met them evacuated from an area where they'd spent the last few weeks in a basement in an area of Ukraine that has come under sustained bombardment from Russian forces. They'd been in the shelters looking after those children whilst bombs were falling, trying to keep those kids alive. The doctors, when we spoke to them, hadn't slept for days. They were struggling to stand up and keep talking, and they were still working to save these children's lives. And right now, those children are still across the border. They're part of now an evacuation mission to get them out, to get them into Europe. But they are sounding the alarm for all the other civilians, all the other children in areas around Ukraine, like Mariupol, like Kharkiv, that right now are under siege, are under attack. And that's the situation. It's a desperately sad situation, and it is a humanitarian crisis, and there's lots of work to get these people's lives saved, but there's a lot of people we're not hearing from right now that, as of right now, are still facing those attacks from Russian forces.
Sara, are you hearing anything from some of the larger international aid organizations about trying to create corridors to get these folks, particularly as far away as, like you mentioned, Mariupol, out and across the border where they can receive medical care?
Yes, those efforts are ongoing, but they've not been successful so far. So there have been civilian evacuations. When they happen, obviously, that's hugely positive that some of those civilians are getting out, and we've been meeting some of the civilians that are getting out. I think you understand when you're meeting these people and hearing what they've survived the last few weeks. And as we said, you know, these are tiny children. Some of these children that we were meeting are just a month old, and their stories are horrifying. What they've survived is horrifying. What they faced as a result of the Russian invasion, horrifying. And that's, you know, these are the people that are getting out, and there's a lot of people who aren't right now.
Sara, one more question for you. You know, we continue to hear reports that tens of thousands, if not more, of Ukrainians who have fled the country, seeing the evil that is being perpetrated on the country, on the most vulnerable in their society, are actually going back across the border, filtering back into the country to fight. Where you are in Herbene, Poland, are you seeing evidence of that? Folks going back in to take up the fight against Russia?
Yes, we are, and that is happening, and a lot of Ukrainians that have evacuated their families, that had been out of the country or had left the country at the start of the invasion, now mobilizing, because I think there is an understanding that this is continuing. It is a sustained fight that is now taking place. The Ukrainian military are doing their utmost to hold off that Russian push to take the capital, Kiev, and we're seeing that that has been effective. So from our side in Poland, you are seeing evidence, yes, of people mobilizing to get back across to travel to Kiev. And, you know, this border is very active. There's a lot of people crossing daily, not just people who are Ukrainians going back, but the NGOs as well, as we said, who are working to get essential life-saving equipment, medicines, food across the border and to the people who need it right now.
Sara, one more question. How's Lucky the dog?
Lucky's here. He's doing very well, thank you.
There he is. He's adorable.
Wonderful, wonderful team around us. Yes, he's doing very well, thank you.
All right, terrific. Sara, we know that this has got to be so incredibly emotional for you to cover, to see these folks firsthand. We want you to know how much we appreciate all that you have been doing, going back and forth across the border there, and of course, taking good care of Lucky.
Thank you for keeping your eyes on the story. It's so important, and it's what every Ukrainian is asking for right now.
Stay safe, Sarah.